Hey guys, welcome to my video review of the LeTV 1S. This is the newest phone from LeTV and it's meant to be a flagship killer. It's meant to have awesome specs at an incredible price. So a little bit more about the phone first. So LeTV is a new player in the mobile phone industry. They started making phones early this year with the LeTV 600 and now they're making this one, which is, as you can see, a pretty large improvement over the previous phone. What this phone has is it has the Helios X10 chipset from MediaTek. It's got 3 GB of RAM, it's got 32 GB of internal storage, and it's got a full metal shell with a fingerprint reader right there. So with all these specs, it comes out to be around $150 or less at retail price. This is a pretty insane price for such a phone. So how does this compare? So in my review, I'm going to cover a little bit about the build of the phone, the performance of the phone, and of course the operating system that it runs on. So first off, let's talk about the build of the phone. So this phone actually looks pretty well built. It's got a kind of full metal outer shell, and it's got a working fingerprint reader. So if you guys are wondering how this fingerprint reader works, well, simply said, if the phone is in an off state, you can put your finger on the back, and let me just put it on here, let's put my finger on, and it'll pretty much unlock if there's no problems with it. Alright, done the first part. Let's talk about the other stuff. So for the next part, we'll talk about the build quality of the phone. Well, unfortunately, I'm not very impressed with the quality of the phone, and this is because of one major reason, which is the durability of the screen. And also, let's talk about the build quality of the phone. If you want to compare this phone to cheaper phones, I think it's got a great build quality. But because they've advertised this as a flagship killer, it's meant to have these awesome specs, which is meant to compare with the best phones on the market, I think it's lacking quite a lot. Let's take a look at the construction first of all. Now let's talk about performance. So in terms of performance, it's got an Antutu rating, at least on my phone, of 53,792. So this scores around a little bit less than the Samsung S5, but it's definitely much better than previous phones with S4 level phones. So how about performance in terms of fluidity? This phone is very, very fluid. Navigating through menus, navigating across and entering apps, it's just really, really fast. Also, in terms of RAM, you got plenty of RAM to play with. I'm going to show you some videos of SimCity. So this is a 3D game, and I've been having a little bit of trouble running that on my S4, but on this phone, it's been running quite fluid. So let's talk about build quality. This phone is fully made out of metal, and this is something you don't actually see in budget phones. I think this is quite solid feeling, and it actually looks a little bit like the Apple design, as you can see on the website. So LeTV really did a big promotion for this phone, and they really called it the flagship killer because you got these cool specs and these cool looks for a very, very cheap price. Well, this is almost there. It's almost there. There are two problems that I'm going to tell you about this phone that you might not actually see from the advertising material. First off, when I got the phone, the sides of the phone were slightly dented, as you can see here. So this actually came with the phone. This is a bit surprising to me because I didn't expect the build quality to be a little bit bad. And I think the reason for this is because the metal used here is a little bit more flimsy than the Apple one used on the iPhone series. So the metal itself is a little bit weaker and it's a bit thinner than what you would normally expect. Next thing up is the biggest issue, which is the screen. So In my first week of use, I actually managed to crack the screen from a fall. The phone dropped from when I was getting out of the car, so it was really less than hip height. And the screen completely cracked here. So you can see the crack coming from the bottom of the phone where the fall happened, and it goes all the way to the top. I was using a glass screen protector at that time. However, I did not have a case around the phone because I thought, this should be good. So a lot of people probably say, okay, stop dropping your phone. That's the obvious solution to this. But I think it goes a little bit deeper. This is the only phone I actually managed to break the screen off. And if you've seen my other videos, I broke the screen off the phone on the LeTV One X600 as well. And if you look at my other phones, like this one, this is a Samsung phone. It's really, really beaten up. It's got fall marks, all the sides pretty much being, scratched or broken from various falls. And that's pretty much what should happen. The only thing that should break is the casing, not the screen. And that's kind of surprising that LeTV kind of didn't really design this properly. I think that's the biggest issue. I mean, I've seen videos with various companies dropping phones a million times and trying to make sure that they don't break. But I think this is something that LeTV and their inexperience in the mobile phone market, they started making these phones last year, and they probably haven't got the design just perfect yet to kind of make it more fall resistant. I mean, right now it looks good, but it's not 100% there in the fall resistance category. In conclusion, this phone's got some pretty good performance. It can run games pretty well, and it goes for the menus really, really good as well. What is really lacking is in the build quality. Right here, when I got the phone, I didn't expect a slight dent on the side of the phone, nor did I expect that the screen would crack in a matter of a week. Like I said, I know some people, they're going to complain, hey, stop dropping your phone. Unfortunately, this is the only series of phones rather, that I managed to crack the screen off. I've owned Samsung phones, the S4, the Note 3. I've owned other Xiaomi phones, the Note, and the Redmi. And I've ever managed to break a phone once. In fact, I've also owned the Apple phone, and I dropped that numerous times. So I think this is because LeTV is quite a new player in the mobile phone market, and their kind of crash testing just isn't up to spec yet. I think maybe wait for the next phone. Maybe, who knows. But as a current state, I think these phones are very, very brittle. If you do plan to buy one, please do consider buying a screen protector, the ones that are the metallic ones, not the metallic, the glass ones, and consider buying a rubber casing around the phone. In terms of camera, the camera's what you expect of a medium range phone. It's not going to be your LG V10 or your new Samsung phones with surprisingly good photos. This is slightly less than actually quite a bit less than the Apple phones in terms of photo performance. In terms of price, of course, this phone is amazing, but do consider that there's two other phones that came to the market after the release of this phone, which is the new Xiaomi Redmi Note 3, and also it's a new Meizu phone as well, with both of which contain similar specs and are of metallic design. So it seems like the Chinese manufacturers really just got this idea and everyone copied off each other and made competing phones, which is great for us because these phones do run great. So guys, I hope this video helped you in deciding if you want to purchase this phone or not. If you like this video, please click the like button below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.